In this video I'm going to go over some steps you're going to take if your pool has experienced a severe rainstorm recently. After the rain stops, you want to check your chlorine level right away because that usually will zero out with a heavy rainfall. Test this one real quick. You can see this one's zeroed out from that rainstorm. So I'm going to go ahead and add some chlorine. You can use the poolcalculator.com to see how much chlorine to use for your particular pool size. Raise it back up to 3 parts per million. This is 12.5% liquid chlorine. I'm going to use most of this gallon up in here. Bring it back up. You want to run your pool for at least 3 hours after adding liquid chlorine to circulate the water. So the liquid chlorine brought the chlorine level back up in this particular pool. One question I get asked often is, should you shock your pool before the rainstorm? I'm kind of against the idea of dumping in 1 or 2 gallons of liquid chlorine, just in case the storm does miss. You don't know exactly how bad the storm's going to be or how your water will be effective. So it's always best to shock the pool after the fact rather than before any kind of rain event. Here's a pool that got hit pretty hard by the rain. You can see that it's really murky. You can't even see the cleaner on the bottom here. It definitely needs to be shocked. If your pool is extremely cloudy or murky after a rain, you definitely want to run it longer than the normal cycle. You may even want to run it 12 to 24 hours until the water clears up. And if the rain causes your pH to drop below 7.0, you definitely want to add some borax to bring up the pH in your pool. Borax is great because it'll raise the pH without affecting the alkalinity level. The pH tends to drop more in a fiberglass pool versus a plastic pool after a rainstorm. I have a video on my channel on how to use the borax to raise your pH in your pool. And a large amount of rain will also raise the water level in your pool. If you're not expecting any more rain and you don't expect it to go over your deck area, I wouldn't worry about draining the pool down. It's not going to really affect the pool at all. But if you're going to expect some more rain, you definitely want to keep it from going over your deck and maybe flooding into your house. If you have a newer pool, you may have one of these things here. That's a drain to let excess of water out of your pool so it doesn't get too high above a certain point. If you have an older pool, you probably won't have one of these on your tile line. A good way to drain your pool down is to have a hose spigot installed at the equipment area. Simply open this up with the pump on and it'll drain your pool down. While the pump is running, attach a garden hose, open it up, and that will drain your pool down. If you have a multi-port valve like this one on your D filter or your sand filter, you can actually drain the pool in waste mode. If you do decide to drain some water out of your pool, I definitely don't recommend using your backwash valve to do any kind of draining. That amount of water running through the filter grids will damage the filter elements, so definitely don't use your backwash valve and don't leave it open for 20 minutes to drain your pool down. It's not a good idea. If you live in an area where your pool is getting a lot of excessive rainfall and the pool is always overflowing, you definitely want to invest in a submersible pump. You would just put this in your pool, turn it on, and drain the water down till you're at the level where it's safe. In some cases, when the pool chlorine zeroes out, your pool may form algae. I have several videos on my channel that will help you treat the algae in your pool. You definitely want to get on top of it right away and treat any algae that blooms up after a rainstorm. Here's another pool that gets pretty wasted when it rains here. See, it's got about 2 feet of the maple leaves on the bottom. Oh yeah, it's pretty bad. Not a good place for a maple tree. The pool is surprisingly clear given the amount of debris that's in here. Check out the Pool Venugan pool cleaner. It's not going to be able to do much in here. And that's enough for this week. I'm pretty much tired out. Whew. Since the chlorine level tends to zero out when there's heavy rain, you may notice some organic staining after you remove the leaves from your pool. Should disappear once the chlorine level is raised up. And the rain may cause a lot of dirt and debris to get into your pool. You want to vacuum that out as soon as possible to prevent any kind of staining on the plaster itself. So after a severe rainstorm, if you get a lot of dirt in your pool, you want to definitely backwash your DE filter, add some more diatomaceous earth. If you have the sand filter, you definitely want to backwash that also. Cartridge filter, you may want to take it apart, hose off the cartridge to put it back together. It all depends on how much dirt and debris actually wash into your pool during the rainstorm. It may take a day or two for the dirt to completely settle at the bottom of the pool. Once it does, you can definitely vacuum your pool. I almost find a good amount of worms after a rainstorm. It's pretty typical. Gotta make sure you empty the skimmer basket right after the rainstorm. There could be a lot of debris in there. You also want to enter your cleaner canister. It's probably pretty full of leaves also. That's pretty bad. The creepy's moving again, I hear it. So basically you just want to do whatever you can to clear the debris out of your pool as soon as possible after a rainstorm. That's a quick look at some things you want to be aware of when you have excessive rain in your area.